Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, Dirk. Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing? How's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Thank you for joining us. That was definitely a hype introduction. Got everyone here in a great mood, ready to hear what Upland is all about. And man, just overall good moves. It feels like a Friday in here.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
good. That's good.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm a little bit more in the colder Europe part right now. Normally, I'm more in the warmer end on California, but well, it's okay.
Well, if you were dancing along, you definitely got a little sweat working going on. Let's give a second. Let me ping some of the rows here. Let them know that we will be starting this. Okay, okay. Any members in the chat familiar with Upland? Let's start off with that question. See what we got going on. Just a brief introduction for you, Dirk. This is the whale community. Very excited about anything NFT, anything Bitcoin, blockchain. We usually host, art streams, music streams, and project showcase streams where someone from the team can come explain about their project and give good information to those here. So if they want to follow along, they like what they see, what they hear, they can follow, your socials, see what's going on with your Discord and all that good stuff. So thank you very much for coming through.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I heard a lot of good things about the whale community. It's a very very engaging community, just like our community. I just love to be part. Joining you guys as well.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so you have your stream up. If you guys are in the chat, definitely tune in to Dirk's live stream so that you can follow along with the graphics and see exactly what this product or project is all about. Okay, so Dirk, tell us a little bit about yourself. Experience in the space, how you got into the space. Just a few little tidbits so we feel like we get to know you a little bit better. Um, yeah, take it away.
Okay, so hello, well community. My name is Dirk, and I'm one of the founders of Upland, a company which has been actually started in 2018, and we went live with the project in 2019. So my background is I like to work with startups especially, and have started so far 4 companies before Upland, and Upland is my 5th one, and been involved with all of blockchain and decentralized ledger technologies actually quite early on, since 2011. And and I currently live on the U.S. West Coast near San Francisco. Originally, as you can hear by my accent, I'm from Europe. Make you guess which country? I won't say it. And it's hard to say, huh?
Never guess.
You guess it?
Well, I know the answer already. I'm sure a few of our Stoop members can guess by their accent. We have a lot of people in Europe in this community as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's anyways. With Upland, we don't know any borders, we don't know countries. It's a global phenomenon. Hopefully, going forward, and that's also why we call it the Earth's metaverse. So yeah, so that's a little bit background about myself. Loving working with startups, starting companies, and exploring the unknown, and that's also what we are doing with Upland. So background story of Upland is when back in 2018, I sat with my 2 co-founders, Manny Honigstein and Idan Zuckerman. We sat together. We had one of those game nights, and actually we were playing this very traditional game, Monopoly. Everyone knows basically. I think that's very easy. When I always say, what is actually Upland? And we say, well, it's we were inspired by Monopoly. Everyone understands it immediately. So we were playing that, and that was also the time, when everything was hyped, and we've seen the whole wave with CryptoKitties and so on. And so at that night, actually, we did actually two things. We played Monopoly, but we also had a movie night where we watched. And for those of you who have maybe watched Stranger Things, there's a parallel world which is happening there where it's a little bit more negative, right? Because there's monsters in these worlds are trying to get into the real world. But when we saw Monopoly and we saw Stranger Things, we somehow got a little bit creative, brainstorming, said, hey, why not? And we knew all this blockchain thing was going on and NFTs are coming up. I said, why don't we do the following? Why don't we tokenize the real world and put that into some kind of a game? So that was the original idea. And since Manny and Idan, they're actually very, very deeply from the gaming space. I'm more let's say a little bit more from the blockchain and financial space. We said, okay, why don't we put ourselves together and create a new company out of that? And that's how Upland was actually born. And Upland was originally born as what we call a property trading game. And the idea is it's very simple, and I'm going to show that in a second. Is we take real world properties. We take the borders. It's not just the buildings. It's really the real world borders of a property, and put that into a game. And so that's how Upland was born.
Okay, so I'm sure a few of us can understand Monopoly and all that. So some of this stuff might seem familiar or easily grasped, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's easily to grasp, right? Because it's, the way Monopoly works is, I guess everyone on the call here knows what it is about. You purchase some streets, you have to collect those streets, and of certain colors. Once you have collected those streets, you start actually earning some income, because when people come on your street, they have to pay for it, and eventually you can develop those properties or those streets with you can put a house on it and you can put a hotel on it. But but that's very much the game mechanic how Monopoly works, and that has inspired us to do something similar. But from there, that's also how we branded when we originally launched Upland back in the middle of 2019 into closed beta. We called it in the beginning a property trading game. But since then, we actually moved on, and we call it from now on, we call it actually more timely the Earth's metaverse, because it's going to be much more than just a property trading game. And when people ask me, okay, what it is today, and we have actually communicated lots of ways to communicate that a little bit further. But I'm going to read it out loud. I assume you can probably see my
screen. Yep.
It's my screen here, right? Can you see that? What is Upland as a headline? Just checking. Yeah.
Yep.
Can you see that?
All good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I'm just saying, Upland is a cross-platform metaverse on top of the real world, developing innovations to become one of the world's largest and most dynamic NFT economy. So we have a strategy really around these NFTs, which we are developing. But to say that very clearly, we also have a strategy to integrate also other NFTs from other worlds into Upland. So everyone who's new to Upland, we have actually prepared a special sign-up bonus, and I think Alegria, you're also going to share that later somewhere in the show notes. But as you can see here, if you use that link, you get a 6,000 Apex sign-up bonus for Upland, which is equivalent of $6.
Oh, nice. So just from being in the whale community watching today, if you sign up, you'll get an extra bonus. There's a sign-up bonus, but this is like a double, yeah?
Yeah, that is a higher cyber post, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I just shared the iOS link also. If you guys are on iOS, you can download the game and get the trading. But after you learn about this first.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to explain that. Just a quick note on that link. So when we say cross-platform, so from day one, for us, it was very important that Upland is actually capable to reach a mass audience. And that's the reason we have to be also on all platforms. So currently, Upland is available on the web, on iOS and Android, as you rightfully said. If you use that link, it's a smart link. It will recognize. If you're on your desktop browser, it will send you to the browser on your desktop. But if you use it on your mobile phone, it will send you to the Android or iOS store. So that's the way it works.
Nice.
Okay, maybe I can show quickly our trailer, and then I dive in a little bit. Should I do this? Yeah, and then dive a little bit deeper into what actually Upland is about. Yeah, and then of course do a demo and how it works. Yeah, so hopefully this works with the sound and everything.
It should be okay.
It's just a 1 minute, just 1 minute trailer. Starting now.
We want to rebuild the world. Build it now. The journey of Upland begins with a crowd of cheering, dancing, and marching peaceful llamas. The llamas are celebrating a new world that is rebuilt by llamas for llamas. Introducing Upland, a parallel world that blends with the real one. Purchase virtual properties based on actual addresses and enjoy true ownership powered by blockchain technology. Join Miles B. Chain as he travels around the globe, buying, selling, trading property in San Francisco, Hong Kong, and more. Play Upland by becoming a proud landlord of your dream property, completing collections, finding treasures, and playing pinatas. Earn in Upland, Upix currency for flipping properties, running your own business, and sell digital goods and properties for profit. Connect in Upland by forming and joining squads, meeting other players in cafes and other hangout places. Play, earn, and connect in Upland today. Available on the web, App Store, and Google Play.
All right, so this was the quick trailer. And as you can see, we were in that trailer. You see, what Upland is actually based on 3 pillars. And I'm just have a little bit more theory now, and then we dive into the app itself. So if you go to our website upland.me, you see those where we explain quickly those 3 pillars. First of all, it's about play, and that's what I explained earlier. We, inspired by Monopoly, we said, okay, how can we entertain, of course, people when they come into the app? And it's very much the game loops which we implemented is that you can purchase a property, you start earning some income on that. Explain that in a second, and then you can start collecting properties with the same characteristics, like the same properties on the street and so on. And there's other play features in there, like treasure hunts. We have scavenger hunts. And actually, next week we're excited to launch what we call the Sandbox Wars. That's actually where it's all around property development to build houses on your properties, and that's also going to be quite exciting. So then the next pillar which we have is earn. And I said when you can start developing your property, so you will be able to put houses, mansions, or what have you on your properties, and eventually run a business and operate a business there. So and here's where actually the real world with the virtual world blends a little bit going forward. And we're just going to launch it. I have to say, by the way, which I have not mentioned yet, is Upland is currently in open beta. So we launched into open beta last January, and we're still adding a lot of features to it. So this whole idea of running a business that's coming next year. So, and then the final pillar is connect. Today we have a very, very active community on Discord. We do a little bit also on Telegram, but our core is really on Discord. And so where people can exchange, they help each others, they have players. But what is also where we were really proud of, we also launched what we call the Upland Contributor Network, because we have a lot of Uplanders who are super creative and they create content in many different directions. So we have one podcast, for example. We have videos on lots of videos on YouTube about that. We have Upland Academy, a website. I think Alegria is also going to share those links. We have even a rap song has been created around Upland. So that's something where our community really contributes to it. And when you become a member of the Upland Contributor Network, you can actually earn some of our in-app cryptocurrency for that. So these are basically
That's pretty. Well, hold 1 second. That's a lot of info. That sounds great. I took the time to go check out the website, but the video is amazing. I'm sure you get a lot of feedback because of the cute llamas. The llamas. Tell us if I can cut you off a little bit. Who did the llama? Where did the llama come? Because we already see a lot of llama frenzy.
Oh yeah, that's true. So first of all, the llama's name is Miles B. Chain. So we gave it a name, and it has different expressions. So this is our hero. So you will not really see it in the game, but or in the metaverse, but you will see it, around on the website, and we have T-shirts and these kind of things. The idea we came up with the llama is when we sat together back in late 2018, we said, we really need a hero. We need to have that. And that time, because we were just getting started, our whole story around that is we had a friend who also had a company here in Mountain View in Silicon Valley, and they had a panda as a hero, and said, okay, let's take a look at different animals, which have, of course, were kind of smart, who are funny, who were likable, and so we had a couple of suggestions, like a beaver, completely makes sense, like a beaver who builds houses and so on. And then our creative director, Jason, he came up with a couple of like other suggestions, and one was the llama, and we saw it and we immediately fall in love with it and said, okay, llama is going to be the hero of Upland. So that's how it came together.
Very cool, very cool. It's always important to have a good mascot. You guys have the llama, the whale community has me. That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe we can do something together one day where they meet or so, right? It could be actually quite an interesting idea.
For sure. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Good. So, of course, I don't have to run through the whole sign-up process and so on. But when you click on the link, actually, you will be directed to the sign-up page of Upland, what you see here. No, I'm not going to go through all that right now, as internet's kind of slow right now. Oh, that's coming. Okay, so you get to this map where you can basically sign up. The reason I'm showing that is even though we are a blockchain, let's say, company, and everything is blockchain powered, not everything, but the most important stuff, the assets are blockchain powered, is that because we want to go and be attractive also to a mass market, we said we cannot deal with all that difficult blockchain and private keys, wallet, passphrases stuff. So all you need in Upland is basically to sign up, to create a username, email address, and a password. So we're hashing all that, through our smart client, so we do not have access to that either, but that's just the way. It's a super simple sign-up process. And once you signed up, actually, you will actually get this little image. You have to verify your email, of course, traditional stuff via email, and then you get to a tutorial, and you will be dropped in a city called Fresno in California. And I have to explain that why that is the case. But the idea is that you run through the tutorial, and it explains you the main features in the game or in the metaverse.
Cool.
So, all right. So let me jump into. So I'm already logged in here. So by the way, one thing here also full disclosure is that we as Upland employees, we do not play Upland on the production server, because we cannot actually do that, because obviously we have insider knowledge. So it's forbidden for us to play. That's the reason also what I'm showing you right now is actually our staging server. So sometimes a little bit buggy, but I cannot do that actually on the live server. So I have an understanding for that, right? So the only thing when we go on the live server is, when we have to do some demo to do some testing, but we're not playing Upland. But
Gotcha.
once you signed up to, questions, Led, or?
No. I asked the community if they have some questions, they can start getting them ready. But no.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm happy. I don't want to do a monologue. Is other questions already? So I don't know.
No, not yet. Maybe land.
Okay.
We'll find out in a quick second.
All right. Okay. Just I want to show you something. So you see actually the map of San Francisco and Upland. So you can play Upland from everywhere where you are in the world. So you don't have to care about that. However, Upland has launched, when we launched into open beta, we only had one city open, which was San Francisco. And in the meantime, we have launched 3 more cities. So when I zoom out, actually, you will see that because you will see some icons here. You see here a little airplane. So we actually also launched New York City in the meantime. And we did launch also the city of Fresno, which you see actually, which is a little bit here south, which is in the Central Valley of California. And the reason why we've launched is that Upland is not always cheap to play because we are mimicking the real world, obviously, here. And San Francisco and New York, also in the real world, unfortunately, very expensive places to live. So we decided to launch also Fresno when especially new players come on board, right? They can actually go and start playing, without necessity to spend money from day one. So one thing I have to also to elaborate here is when you think about blockchain and NFTs, NFT is all about true ownership. And when you now think about the gaming world, in the gaming world, you usually have some kind of a free-to-play mechanism in there. So people can start playing or freemium, and once they want to move up level or do something in the game, of course, that's how games are monetizing. You have to purchase something, right? Or different ways to purchase items in a game, skins and so on, or swords and what have you. But the challenge was with Upland is when you sign up for the first time, is that when people purchase a property and we give them the full ownership of it, right? We cannot take it away from them again, because this is, of course, what blockchain is all about, right? You are the true owner of something. So we decided in the beginning to not give true ownership yet to the players. So when you sign up for the very first time, and as you saw that, you actually get the sign-up bonus of 6,000 APEX, and we have a fixed exchange rate of $1 is 1,000 APEX. So you have a credit of 6,000 APEX, and you can now start playing. So for 6,000 APEX, you will be able to purchase some properties in Fresno already. But you are a visitor to Upland and you are getting a visa and you have to sign into Upland at least once a week. Otherwise, we will recycle your assets. So you have to start playing. And once you reach a threshold of 10,000 APEX, equivalent of $10 of net worth, that means either you have APEX in your account or you've accumulated and purchased properties. So once your full net worth, that means APEX plus properties which you have purchased, is more than 10,000 APEX, you become an Uplander. There will be a ceremony and so on. And that's the time when you start keeping your assets forever, right? Then they're truly yours, unless you sell them, of course, to another player, which is possible, which I will explain. But this, we created a unique freemium approach.
So it's like a trial almost, see if you really like the game, if you're going to stick around and take it serious. And then, yes, then your assets become yours after you pass that introductory period.
That is correct. Yeah. And that is very important. So we don't force people from day one to really spend money. They can play around and do something there, of course, right? And we also have players. I think we talked to one. I think he spent all the money he spent was $5 in Upland, and then he was doing treasure hunts. He was flipping properties and so on. I think he's now has a net worth of more than $1,000 in Upland. So he moved his way up. So he even didn't have to spend a lot of money. But of course, if you want to do shortcuts, you can invest into Upland. But let me run you through how it works when you signed up for the first time. So when you sign up for the first time, you get what is actually called a little block explorer, which is your game piece, which you see here right now. And this little, this you can select, different game pieces. When I go here on settings, so I selected now scooter. I can select some other of those game pieces here. However, when you actually achieve a higher status in Upland, and that's when you actually on the live production server, you will see that you will see a lot of individual game pieces, individual block explorers, how we call them. And the reason is because they have actually achieved a certain status in Upland. And when they do that, they actually can upload a custom image. It should just not contain, any intellectual property of a brand or so, but it can be an image of themselves. It can be anything, right? We have a flaming poop, for instance. We have we have turtles. There's a lot of, really funny looking block explorers around, and those will be individualized. For just for you, but you need to reach 1 million UPEX to get to that status. So I want to now show you right now. So my block explorer is actually roaming randomly the city of San Francisco, as you can see here. And normally when I log in, I just have to move it quickly. It was unfortunately just right now in a place where it should not be. 1 second.
Cool. So as you get more advanced and stuff, it seems like you can express yourself a little bit better and make it your own and individualize yourself. That's cool.
That's correct. Yeah. So that's what people really like here. So when you see now my block explorer is now roaming here the city. Right now I'm in California Street in San Francisco. And it actually highlights, while it moves, and it's moving randomly. Yeah. So it highlights while it moves here some of those properties which are turning into green, and those who are turning into light green. Actually, those are the properties I am allowed to purchase in Upland as a newbie, right? As a new player. And the way it works, right, I can click on that property here. I get this little, overview. I can actually also, go on to more. I get a little bit more info. I can, for instance, go here on Street View. And then I can see that's where we're using Google Maps. You can see this is the property, right? Real world property you would be purchasing, in that case. So you can get an idea. So what I'm going to do now
is that's cool. I didn't realize that part with the Google Maps was integrated. That's pretty cool. So you can buy someone's house.
Yes, exactly. And of course, people are keen to buy their own houses very quickly when they find out about Upland, right? That is just the way it works. And buying a property is super simple. So I go here on buy. And then I said, please confirm that you wish to purchase it. And the thing is, because I'm using, because as this is just our playground here, I have right now 653,000 UPEX, which is equivalent of $653 on my account. And then when I say, yeah, please, do you want to purchase that? It's very simple. Now it says, okay, yes. And now we are minting now this property as an NFT live onto the blockchain. So I get a little celebration here. Now I become the owner, right? And now it says, Dirk Upland, you are now the owner of that property. It takes a short moment. I think I have not mentioned yet, we are based on the EOS blockchain. So one of the advantages we have here is because we are obfuscating really everything which is blockchain-y, right? So you don't have gas fees now to pay, or you don't have to fire up a MetaMask wallet or so. It's really a super simple user experience. However, it's still minted on the blockchain, but you as a user, you don't have to pay, blockchain fees for that transaction at that moment.
Yeah,
But it still takes a short moment.
You can tell that you guys really removed that friction of signing up for a wallet and all that stuff. So that's probably the first time where you see that it's something blockchain related, where it said EOS transaction, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And you can always go and check, on the blockchain, where when you have your own properties, that is notarized on the blockchain. Let me see that it's already.
The site for that is upx.world. Is that correct?
UPX.world is actually a website from which was made by a community member. So we don't provide all data in the app itself. However, we decided, of course, blockchain data is accessible for everyone, but we also have an API which sophisticated people can connect. But they said, okay, we can connect to the API, and we want to share that what we are able to retrieve also with the community. And we have two really compelling websites. One is called upx.world, and the other one is called Daily Uplander, and that's where you can actually do special queries, and you can get some stats and so on. So, but it has nothing to do with us. Our verification actually happens on Blocks.io. So normally, what you do here, I just forgot. I cannot do this right now because this is just our own internal sandbox. But what you can do is when you go on title, and then you see here EOS transaction, and then you see a link here, and when you click on the link, then Blocks.io would open, and then that's where you would actually see your transaction on the blockchain. Now, Blocks.io is something like Etherscan or so for those who don't know how EOS works.
Cool.
Make sense?
Yep. We do have a question here from Long. If I can ask you real quick, he says the game looks like it has a reverse play curve of normal idle games, in the sense that the more land you have, the more money you generate, and the bigger the reason to be online, so you can buy more land. If true, what is the plans to combat that wall feeling in the beginning?
I'm not sure I understand 100% the question, but I'll try to answer it. Maybe if I repeat it.
Maybe you can clear it up.
Yeah, maybe I first explain how you earn money, and then we go back to the question again, right? In Upland, right? And and then how you spend it. So what you see here is, oops, I did not touch property. It was here. Yeah. So what you can see here right now is once I purchased a property, I start to earn UPX. Yeah, as I said, UPX is the currency you need to have to purchase a property, but also once you own a property, you start earning an income, and it's a yield. And for instance, the property I just purchased was basically, this gives me a monthly earning of 99 UPX. So, just to give you an idea, when a property is on a standalone basis, the way it's currently computed, you earn roughly 70% yield on your property per year. You can increase that earnings by completing collections, but I come to that a little bit later. Okay. But you can collect your earnings, and I don't know, maybe you have to repeat the question is, I can, when you go here, I go on earnings, and you see, these are all the properties which I own, and over time I've earned that much, and now I can go here and collect those earnings, and they will be added here to my balance.
Very cool, and that's also a transaction on the chain.
That's also a transaction on the chain, of course. Yeah. So UPX is also on the chain, of course. When I want to purchase more UPX, that's also one thing I want to show us here. What you see here is different ways, different tiers. You see that in the App Store and on the web. I mean, one thing we have to say on the web is always smarter to purchase on the web. That's all I can say. If you know iOS and Android, their policies. Yeah. So we can always recommend to go onto the web to purchase something. But once you're here, let's say I pick this, and this is also what makes Upland special. You can either pay with your credit card, you can pay with PayPal, or you can pay with crypto, right? We, of course, PayPal connects to another interface, and crypto also connects to another interface. We're doing that with a partner called Utrust, where you can purchase with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So when you choose pay with crypto, you get a few different token choices.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So we got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. I don't have it on top of my head. People are always asking why is not EOS included there. So we're waiting because we're doing this with a partner. So hopefully they will integrate also EOS, in the next few months, and then we have EOS there as well.
Cool.
Yeah. But the main cryptos are there. Yeah. Okay. So, can we repeat the question? Maybe I'm not sure if I answered it.
I'm gonna ask. He has a follow up question, so let me start with that. He says it sounds like supply is really big. Does that hurt the ROI for the natural progression of estate prices?
Well, first of all, we're playing around with scarcity, so we're very careful what we are launching. When we launched San Francisco. San Francisco was the only city for, when we include the closed beta for at least 12 months. So that's where, we don't want to flood the market with too much supply. And we only opened up New York once we had sold more than 50% of San Francisco. It's not a rule that we always open up new cities when 50% is sold, but we're watching the economy, because we have to have in mind that it's not just a pseudo economy which we are building here on the side. It's really like a real world economy. Yeah, and that has a lot of implications. So I'm very happy that it ties into my back when I was still studying at the university and wrote a thesis about the whole idea of private and state-controlled currencies, because in a certain way, Upland becomes a kind of a central bank here to really manage a very sound economy, and this is what is always very important to us. And I think that relates to the question is. Our main objective is to create really a stable economy. That's also the reason we keep the exchange rate of dollar and UPEX the same. So people understand, okay, when prices are going up and down in Upland for purchasing a property, that's because of market demand. But it has nothing to do with inflation of UPEX currency itself, because otherwise, if UPEX would fluctuate, let's say like a cryptocurrency, people will lose control and understanding, what is really the market value of the NFT property. Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
So. One more thing I wanted to show now. So as you can see here, my little explorers, he highlights, this is the trail, right? And everything he highlights, these are the yellow, light green properties I can purchase. You see other colors. So the blue here this is my own property. Then you see actually also, this light gray here. This is actually a property which is owned by someone else, but not for sale. But then you can see also those darker green properties, and these are properties by another player, which he has put up for sale. Yeah, and so this is the player Joseph, and he sells that property right now, for 3,129 UPEX. What you see here below is that it says you pay 3,285. The reason for that is because, as I said, we want to create a full functioning economy, and we have different what we call Upland pools, and one is called the Upland Community Pool. And out of that Upland Community Pool, we are paying the yield for the income on the properties, or we're paying using that also when we have certain like activities, challenges where people can win prizes. We're paying that out of that pool. But when you do a transaction, you as the buyer and the seller both have to pay 5% of the purchase price, and that money goes into the pool. In that way, we create a full circulation of money in Upland, and there will be more things coming up, which is very important. What is called in economic terms the velocity of money, which we're trying to increase here in a certain sense. But in that case, it will ask me, hey, do you want to purchase the property from Joseph? I can say yes, of course, and then he ask me to confirm that, and then again, now ownership is changing, and that is, of course, again recorded on the blockchain. So, but
is there anything or any like an open sea kind of system where you can browse outside of the game, or everything is done in game?
Right now, everything is done in game, but we have plans to, in the first level, to get more other assets into Upland. But then we will also have a way to get assets out of Upland. That's coming. That's just not there yet. Yeah. So then, but of course, since we are on the EOS blockchain, we have a couple of ideas. I don't want to disclose it yet, but what we have here in the making. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very, 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 very innovative also as well. Speaking of innovation, I also want to mention one thing here is right now you saw I purchased this property for Apex. But going forward, and we already allow that for a certain amount of users in Upland, you will be able to sell your properties or any other NFT in the future for US dollars. So we have partnered up with Second Life, and their mother company is called Linden Labs, and they have a subsidiary called Telia. So we partnered up with Telia in order to do that in a especially US completely regulatory compliant way. So this is a way for players, because this is also one problem we're solving with the traditional gaming industry, right? Traditional gaming industry, all you can do is extract extract this entertainment value. But with Upland, you will be able to extract also monetary value. And so we're going to open up the fiat, that you can sell properties for fiat to everyone next year, early next year. So, but that allows you to really extract also monetary value out. And since right now we are only offering properties, you can sell those properties. But in the future, and I have some more words on that, when we will have other NFTs, and other NFTs you will be able to sell maybe a block explorer to another player. You will be able to sell things you put on your property. Let's say maybe one day we have virtual plants. Maybe you want to sell a virtual plant to another player, or you want to sell your house in the future. All these kind of things. Of course, houses will be tied to the property themselves, but there will be goods in Upland which are based on an NFT, which you can sell directly to other players, also for USD.
Wow, that's interesting. How is it going to work exactly the same on say on the mobile stores, or there's some workaround there?
Yeah, So the selling of for USD is only available on the web right now. That's unfortunately is probably not really in our hands. As you know, there's a lot of discussion going on. I think Fortnite is fighting a battle there with Apple and so on. Let's see. I don't know, but if it's possible, of course we will offer it. Yeah, right. But right now we have probably to go through the web at the moment, mobile browser or desktop browser.
Understandable. There's a lot of regulations and restrictions there with those stores. They keep a tight lid on that.
Yeah. So, but that's what we have to live with, unfortunately. Okay, good. So, one thing I wanted to show also in terms of movement, as you can see, my block explorer is really randomly moving around in the city right now. So I have other ways to move my block explorers, and the way that works my block explorer, the way it works actually is I can send him somewhere, and I can send him in two ways. Either I send him to my own property, which you can see here is blue, and that send is actually for free. Or I can go and send my property, my block explorers to, let's say, someone else's property because I want to go to that area, but I don't own a property there. And it's super simple. I click on that here. I say send, and then it asks me, actually, this player will get 60 UPEX when I send my block explorer, my game piece to that property. If I send it to my own property, it's free. But of course, if I send it to someone else's property, I have to pay for it. And that's another example how people can earn in Upland going forward. Yeah, but we'll have more of that. Question is, of course.
There is a question. If you want to read it out from, it's the same question rephrased, though maybe you can get it, make some sense out of it. It's right there in the stream text if you can see it.
It's at the end of the stream on the text?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let me just scroll there 1 second. Game, how do you keep people interested in this? If, let's say, the game called Buy My Land come out. What?
It was the question above that, actually.
The question above? Is that the question? So how can that be? No, I'm just trying to find it here. So the longer I play, the more I can do. Yes, as I can begin to flip more land, etc. That's correct. But in normal idle games, you can do a lot in the beginning and to progress, but will slow you down as you progress. So how can that be combated so people can play more in the start and increase engagement? Okay, that's a very good question. Yeah, so I only show right now, of course, the purchasing of a property. I mean, we're a property trading game, and the flipping of properties, this is already very exciting because people are saying, okay, for how much can I sell? Who's interested in buying, and so on. But we have a lot of other game loops integrated, of course, into the game. And I'm going to show those how those work. So one of the game loops, I mentioned that earlier, where also is Monopoly is coming from. It's called collections. So why would you actually try to get to certain properties, and why would you actually try to get to certain areas because they're interesting? And the reason for that is because we have actually what we've created here is collections which have different, and that's probably your question, different difficulty levels to reach. So when I go, for instance, the very first collection, which is super simple, is to go to a newer collection. That means own any one property in Upland. So I can go click on this here, and I added actually this property Castor Street to it. But now I would like to advance and say, I want to do the next collection, which is a little bit harder, right? And I need to own 3 properties in San Francisco. So I need to go now to see, okay, which are the properties I can potentially use for that one in order to complete the collection. Why do I want to do that? Because I can actually earn more UPEX for that. So first of all, when I complete the collection, I get a one-time reward. And then when I actually own this collection, as long as the collection is completed, actually I get a boost. So when let's say, I earn, just to make a simple calculations, I earn maybe 100 UPEX on that, on a property. Now with a boost, I will earn 130 UPEX on that because that property is now part of that collection. And completing the collection is quite simple. I just click here, So my internet is not so fast here today. Just click. Just collect now. Complete that collection, the San Francisco collection. Voila. And done. Yay. Now I'm collecting my reward. This is my one-time reward, and then now from now on, all the properties which are included in that collection actually will be boosted. Will have boosted income. All right. So that's one game loop which we have. So completing collections, and in order to progress in the game and in the collection game loop, of course, each collection becomes more difficult, right? So we have the museums collections, or in San Francisco, which are really hard to complete, and there's the rarity is much lower. That means, of course, there cannot be as many museums collections as there can be, like owning 3 properties in San Francisco. And that's what people drive to start doing deals also with other players, because they want to complete that collection and advance like this in the game.
Okay, so there's definitely some mechanics to keep the game alive and keep you trying to progress in different things, right?
Exactly, right, and that was our first game loop which we implemented, and where people had lots of fun completing that. They went onto Discord, chatting with each other, haggling, and all these kind of things, just to get to good prices. And there's a lot of traders channels, right? There's even a fan server on Discord, and on Telegram there's special servers where people just talk about trading of properties.
Excellent.
Then we also have other right now we have other features integrated into Upland. By the way, how long are we doing this today? Just to make sure I'm cognizant about the time.
We usually go for about an hour. We're gonna hit that pretty soon, but we can go over by a few. I'll post some of those links over again. Just so people can stay up to date. You have a Discord, yeah?
Yeah, we have a Discord. I think the link, I shared this links with you guys. Okay. There's a link. We can always ask, and we have people in there. Maybe then I rush quickly through the other features which we have. Is one is called treasures. One is we have a treasure hunt. So don't get confused with some other old stuff in here, because it's not our live server, obviously. But the idea is that you have to compete with other players. We're spawning treasures, and then you have to quickly, the ones who are the fastest, to find the treasure, gets then some Apex rewards for that. And very often, we have those little, piñatas, which you have to tap very quickly. And the faster you tap them, the more Apex you actually earn. So it's a fun little game, especially on mobile. It's a lot of fun to play. Yeah. So unfortunately, we don't have the time to run through everything, but I want to show you a couple of other things. What we have is then also challenges. So we always have things happening in Upland. Right now we announced that what we have is Sandbox Wars. So we are launching property development. That means people will be able to build on top of their properties. But before we launch actually the main features to build something on it, we have what we call a neighborhood challenge. We call that Sandbox Wars, because it's still properties which can be built, but which will be deleted after that small challenge, before people do the real building. The idea here is in the neighborhood wars or sandbox wars is who can build the most properties in a neighborhood in a time. And there's also some other game mechanics involved, like you can, because we have also, we introduce a new token, which is a resource token. So you need to, players get a certain amount of this resource token. It's called SPAT. The more SPAT you have, the faster you can build. But the whole mechanic is, who has the most, who builds the most in their village, in their neighborhood. That's one thing. But on the other hand, you can also sabotage other neighborhoods building faster than you by putting cell towers into the neighborhood. But you also need SPAT, the resource token, to do that. So I don't think I have the time to explain that, and that's we're launching now soon. That's going to be really lots of fun. So there's always challenges. There's also other challenges like scavenger hunts, who find something first. And it's really fun in the sense. Also, we had also the San Francisco Love Tour, where people who have to go to different famous places in San Francisco in order to to see where famous musicians lived, and they have to solve a small riddle there, move on to the next place, solve a riddle. So it's a lot of ongoing activities. Like now for Christmas time, people can decorate. So at Halloween, we had actually videos up there which our community uploaded, scary videos. They could build scary houses. So it's endless. Where we involve the community.
No, there's definitely a lot built on top of that. If you look at it real quick, you're just like, oh, it's you can buy little squares on this map, but no, there's definitely a lot of game aspects to it. One question that was, I don't know if you touched on it. How do you convert UpX to fiat?
So UpX is an in-app currency only. You cannot convert UpX to fiat. The main reason for that is regulatory reasons in the US. Because we wanted our core money value attraction comes through selling NFTs to other players, right? If UpX will forever and ever be in app only, I cannot say at this moment, but right now it is. So UpX is not tradable anywhere.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay, two more things I wanted to show is also when you want to go to Fresno or to New York, actually you have to either take a train to Fresno. You see this little Fresno, you see this little train symbol here, where you can go, and then you can take a train. It takes you roughly 20 minutes to get there. If I send my Block Explorer, then I cannot show you anything anymore. Or you have to take a plane. There you have to go through the San Francisco airport, SFO, which is a little bit in the south of San Francisco. You have to send your Block Explorer here, and then you can send it to New York in order to be in New York, which is, but that takes you even longer, of course, to travel, and it's also, like in real life, a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, you have to take your shoes off and all that.
Yeah, exactly. But we have a lot of nice animations, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah. People are always asking, what are you guys are doing with landmarks? So landmarks are normally not up for purchase. When landmarks like Golden Gate Bridge, Coy Tower in San Francisco, so those will have special meanings in Uplands going forward, but eventually we'll be able to run and operate a business. And I want to actually, because we're running now for 1 hour, I guess, maybe also show some of my last slides before taking maybe some more questions.
Yeah.
When I said in the beginning, Upland is based on 3 pillars. One is play. We ran through all that, where what you've seen, what I've demoed here right now. But where we super excited, what we are going to launch next year, is that people will eventually be able to make profits like in real life, how we call it. And it's not just by flipping and by speculating, but creating actually value in Upland. So when I said in the beginning, you will have the chance to maybe create, virtual plans or something, which you then can sell to other Uplanders. And that becomes now interesting. If you spend a lot of time and, a passion to create those plans, this is going to be, could be lucrative for you. Maybe you once Upland continues to grow as it does right now, maybe you have 1,000 plants you sell, and you sell each plant for $10. Hey man, that's some money you can earn, right?
Definitely.
So that's that's where it becomes interesting, right? It's not just about speculation and so on. And that's one idea. So people will have Upland assets they can create. Either they can use some Upland assets they can sell, or they can use user-generated creations. But then we also, it's a little bit early, but we've started talking also to some large brands, and it would be cool if we can start importing brands, real-world brands like a car manufacturer, into Upland, and then you can actually drive maybe your dream car in Upland, which you're not driving in real life, but you can drive it in Upland. And maybe you will be able to sell that car also. So that's how we want to integrate real world brands into Upland. Another thing we are going to launch next year is what we call the Nft Portal. And that's where it becomes really interesting, is that you will be able to import any NFT. I mean, we're starting with some blockchains and add others, let's say the most relevant to it. And let's say you have a digital art you purchased, let's say on OpenSea or so, you will be able to import that into Upland and put that on your virtual wall, which is kind of cool, and brag it or show it to others in a certain sense. In the first phase, you will be able to show it, but in the second phase, what we wanted to allow is also people will be able to trade those properties directly in Upland. And that becomes very interesting. Because you have maybe a larger group which is interested in that particular piece of art which you have. So that's also where we want to go cross chain. But when we say you import it through the NFT portal, you will also be able to export. Let's say you purchase an NFT from a player in Upland and they say, I want to bring it back to OpenSea or wherever. You will be able to export that again, right? And then you become the true owner on the other blockchain again. So it's not just unidirectional, it will go both ways, of course. So that's pretty cool, I think, a pretty cool feature. And nice. One
becoming like a little metaverse. Well, not little at all. It's literally the world map, but it's becoming so much more.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we see. That's our big dream, right? The largest, Earth's metaverse, as such, right? And when we say Earth, right, we want to blur the real world, and it has a lot of regulatory implications. I think this will take us a while to introduce that. But one idea is also that you can tokenize real world assets like a Picasso drawing, right, or a sports car, right, an old-timer sports car. And now you own a token of that real world asset. Yeah, and now you bring it into Upland. In Upland, you can show maybe the full image or the full drawing, right? But even though you only own a piece of it in real life, and now you can trade it in Upland. So that's, there's a lot of things you can do. But again, this will take us a while to introduce that because we need to go a lot of regulatory barriers here, especially for the last example, what I've used here. Right? Because one objective of us is always to be very regulatory compliant. It's just, also good for all the users which we have. Yeah, but last but not least is, but when you are able to do all those trades, right, and you can provide services to other Uplanders, you can imagine that you will be able to run so many different kind of businesses, like a virtual car dealership, new art galleries, airlines. You can also operate what we want to do, nurseries, arcades. There's a lot of things, and the idea is also that we will open up, and it's a little bit further down the road, but Upland should become a full platform where other third-party developers also can develop apps on top of it. So that's something we also have in mind, going forward in the future. So that's the earn pillar. And the last pillar I just want to say is, we see now we have a lot of interaction in Discord. Right now, you cannot yet communicate in Upland, but eventually you want to open up that as well, that you can meet in a virtual coffee shop. And of course, when Upland will, one day also have 3D, like VR, AR, all these things, which are coming down the road. People can meet there and do things there. You can in universities where people can learn, teach, sports clubs where people can meet together. It's a lot of things. The ideas are endless of what people can do. But eventually it all ties back into really want to create an awesome community where people can meet in virtual neighborhoods, with like-minded Uplanders. We see that already today. We have Dogpatch in San Francisco, Alamo Square, where people with certain interests meet together and develop that community, with like-minded other Uplanders. Yeah. But the way we want to build Upland is really with the community. We have broadcasters, we have now community moderators, we have designers. We will really have an active program to involve our community, and when they contribute, they can earn money for that. So that's also, I think, a new model.
Yeah,
So
the messaging feature is definitely like the first step towards that, right? So once you start including all these other elements, it could really just take on a life of its own.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm open to questions now. I don't know if it's, maybe this.
Okay, let's see. There wasn't much. I think everyone is kind of well. I posted the links and I put the Discord link so people can visit, and if they need some support or have some more in depth questions, they can hit you up on there or someone from the team. So I think we're good on questions for now. But it was definitely a lot of information. There's a lot on with the game. If you guys, I just signed up. I used the link and I got my 6,000 UpX right now. So I hope to see some of you in world, walking around buying my properties. This seems to be like more in the works than what's already there, which is amazing because there's already so much done and completed. So I'll definitely be looking out, for what you guys keep putting out. Yeah, it's exciting stuff, and I think that it's worth a look, especially if your house is on the map, you want to go check that out and purchase it.
Yeah, absolutely. New York City, Fresno, and San Francisco, of course. In San Francisco, already roughly 60% is already sold. So let's see when it's sold out.
Someone's asking for a little spoiler leak. Where do you think the next city will be open?
Kaiser, okay, I see your question. What's your wish? Let's see what he has to say.
Which city are we going to next?
Yeah.
It's unreleased information. Miami. That dragon wants Miami.
Oh. Okay, you seems to be Italian, Kaiser. Um, yeah, so to be honest, we haven't made the decision even among ourselves right now, because right now we're focusing on releasing the feature. I mean, there will be, of course, new cities, but there's no definite plan about releasing one new one yet, because it's still because we have property development, the NFT portal. Once we have that, we will maybe shortly before or after, but that's I don't think we'll launch something in January yet.
Gotcha.
Warsaw. Yeah, that's also yeah. It's a yeah. It's a so let's see. But we're doing lots of. But we can tell you, we have a small project on the side where we actually, because as you can imagine, for the US we get all the property borders, right? And currently we have a small AI project on the side where we actually investigating satellite images because we need the properties borders around the world, and not every country is open to disclose, the property borders like the US or most of the European countries. So we have to find a way to be really available around the world.
Okay, we're gonna send people out with tape measure, pay them UpX to get this done. How about that?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so yeah, guys, you guys have links there to the Discord. Ask your questions, get to know the community, and we'll see you. Running around in world. That would be cool. Send me a message. Yeah, Dirk, thank you so much for showing us the project. There's a lot going on. There's always to learn. You guys are always building, so there's always some new information to be on the lookout for. Yeah, thank you so much. It was very informative.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for having us. I think you have a great community. Really enjoy it.
I
It's good.
appreciate it. Yeah, it's a good bunch here. Yeah, welcome back anytime when you have some crazy announcement that you think we must know. I'm sure that the community here will appreciate it, and I will.
Yeah.
Everyone will. Yeah.
Happy to
All
come
right.
back for the NFT portal. I think that's a big thing. Let's do
Okay.
that.
All right. We'll get it on the agenda. Thank you so much.
All
You
right.
enjoy your
Okay.
holidays. Happy New Year and all that good stuff. We'll catch you soon.
Okay. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.
Peace.